What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Just a quick reminder tonight, Community Notes, 5 p.m. It's the show Sydney Watson and I do over on the Community Notes channel. So we're over there exclusively now. I'll leave a link. I would absolutely love to see you at 5 o'clock Central. The internet kind of collectively dunked on a woman realizing that she had hit the wall and that it was too late for her to start a family, to, continue on down the path that she had, I guess, deeply wanted, but had been led astray by, many people say, modern feminism and this like girl boss culture. And, at the end of the day, biology is undeniable. And, even as somebody myself who's getting much older, who will be 40 this year, and I feel like, dang, I need to pop out some kids. A woman is tougher. Time is more cruel to them. I think the comedian, I forget what the comedian name is. His dad was 70 when he was born. But I think ultimately the women nowadays, or the millennials, were kind of sold a bill of goods in a lot of cases. There are women out there that are happy without kids, and there are men that are out there and happy without kids, but there are also people who are, coping hard. And this is exclusively like a millennial thing. And it's going to be worse in Gen Z, I believe. So there is this video. I'm not going to play it in its entirety because it's actually just really sad. People are really being mean to this woman. I think, ideally, you want to point out the ideology that led us here. When women regret feminism, strong, independent women can't find a man. This is from Modern Woman Archives, and it's rough. Just kind of hearing it. But this is what they were sold.
I'm sitting here with just this horrible realization. I've been divorced for 3 years, and in that 3 years, I have spent most of my days figuring out how I can become physically, mentally, financially, spiritually.
So as you can see, the video is starting out in a very emotional state. And it's kind of tough. Look, I mean, the comments are very cruel. But this is also kind of the reality of kind of this modern, like I said, ideology push. And I think a lot of women, young women who are going down this path, should take this to heed.
To be able to afford and take care of a child. And not only have I taken that time, but I've done the math, and it does not work out.
Now, certainly, I think there's a bit of woman being woman here. She's definitely not too old to have a child. She's definitely not, I forget what she said. She's like in her mid-30s or something like that. It's a different time. She certainly could have a child at this point, but I think what you're witnessing in real time is someone realizing that, like, dang, I've been lied to. Let's continue.
I am not young enough, or fertile enough, or financially stable enough to even do another round of IVF. And at 36,
okay, so she's 36. I think she's probably overreacting here a little bit. Like, she can have a kid at 37, 38, 39, 40, and be totally fine. Having kids at a later age is definitely something that's going on with millennials right now. But I think it's because as you start to get older and you realize, dang, I've been working all the time. Dang, girl bossing's been great, but who do I leave it to? I build an empire. Who do I leave it to? What am I even really doing here? Money is great, but, so is family. And, when you have money, family's there. When you don't have money, family's there. And, at 36, she's probably fine. But like it's a good kind of cautionary tale. She goes on like I just can't handle I can't like do the crying woman videos. I just can't. She says I can't spend another minute of my life trying to make something work when I'm just fighting upstream. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources, the community. I mean, she looks like a pretty good looking woman. I mean, someone just would happily wife her up, I'm sure. So she had embryos with her ex that were viable. And now they're gone. And that's my future with those children gone. So she's really realizing, I think now the full story here, from what is left out. If it's in this video, I'm not totally sure, but in the longer video, her husband, I guess, had lied to her about wanting kids, and she spent all that time with him, got divorced. It's not entirely her fault, but it's being used kind of as this thing. You see people in the comments, y'all should have some grace for her. She dealt with infertility, and her husband lied about wanting kids. People's reactions are cruel. But this is kind of the, again, I see a lonely, divorced, very sad woman, like hopeless. I hope someday will be her day. I mean, she's young enough. I think this is being spun like she's some raging feminist that, is a girl boss, and nobody even knows that. But what I will say is that it's a stark reminder that, the clock is ticking on all of us, and really nobody's guaranteed anything in life. And you see a lot of this, this video's got millions of views now. It sucks. She's obviously very sad. But a lot of people say, interesting video. Another one thinking there's no way she's 36. Actually, she's 24. No, I mean, she could be 36, certainly. A lot of people saying we're all heartless, been drowned in it. It is heartbreaking. I think that she certainly has time. If I could give her any advice, like, there are a lot of men who want families too that, are in their mid 30s. So it's like, it's tough, but I think it's a good reminder for people who like, I think time is ticking, and people have to make certain choices. And there are people out there that, want kids and can't have them, or do, and think it'll, you see this 5 reasons more millennials are choosing not to have children. They're choosing it now when they're young. But the problem is, like, when you get older, right, things change. When I was in my 20s, I was like, I don't want no kids. Now I'm almost 40. I'm like, dang, if I would have just had kids then, they'd already be out of the house. See Fortune magazine, no kids, no problem. Millennials break from the traditional embrace of being child-free. But the question is really why. It sure seems like a lot of kind of programming has gone this way. You have people like Chelsea Handler saying, oh, I'm so happy. I get up and smoke a J, and I've never been happier, and blah, 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 blah. It just feels like a cope to me. Maybe it's not. It feels like it is. You see, economic progress has caused the opportunity cost of having kids to increase. Women have more options than ever when it comes to how to spend their time, money, and energy. As Christine Percheski, Associate Professor of Sociology at Northwestern University, told Insider, the declining birth rate is about women having access to education and employment opportunities. Well, I'd also say it might be about women having access to indoctrination too. I think we're just kind of getting to that generation now of the young women that, are about to get into their 40s, where it's starting to become like, really kind of the last chance to have kids. And how many of them will feel as strongly now as they did when they were 25? I don't know. We're like literally just getting to that. I'm kind of part of that generation when women were told, hey, you can have it all. Go get a job, be a girl boss. That'll make you happy. You can be a mom, and a girl boss or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. A lot of men too. Men have self-selected out of starting families. There's been a lot of mistrust earned and sown between men and women by the media and by everyone's own actions. It's like, I look at some of the kids I graduated high school with, and they have like 6 kids, and they're, you know, and they're in their 20s, some of their kids, and I'm like, well, they got right to work. But that's super rare nowadays, especially if people go, you know, go to college. They spend 4 or 5 years in college, and they spend the next 5 years buried in debt. You're not even. That's how it was for me. I wasn't even thinking about kids until I could pay off my student loans. And so I don't know if this is a good thing for society, people having less kids. I have a feeling that it isn't. And I have a feeling we'll look back at this era as, you know, some of the times when people pretended that they were happy the most. And a lot of people pretend, you know, that they're so happy, but wait till they're 50 and they don't have anyone to come, you know, spend Christmas with, and all their friends and family have kids, or they're married, and they're, you know, like they haven't even gotten to that point yet. So it's like, we don't have the data of like how this all plays out. We don't have the data of like, okay, are they really happy still in their 50s and 60s? Because I suspect many of them won't be. And, you know, this woman realizing that in real time, I think is a good, you know, kind of a good example of that. You know, I think there's some nice comments in here, and then there's also obviously some brutal comments. You know, we don't know anything about this woman, so I don't think that like I don't think that dunking on her is extraordinarily fair. I think it is a cautionary tale, though, and this is what, you know, third wave feminism wanted, and now they've got it. And we'll have to see how it all shakes out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.